murder, terror, and corruption. All words synonymous with notorious mobster James Whitey Bulger.
Bulger, of course, was the infamous mob boss who led Boston's Winter Hill Gang in the 70s and 80s. He was on the run from authorities for nearly 16 years, appearing on the FBI's most wanted list.
Whitey Bulger was one of the most infamous gangsters in U.S. history and was responsible for untold misery and pain during his time at the top.
A force of evil who created a reign of terror, ruling the Boston underworld and orchestrating countless cold-blooded killings.
What did Whitey do to your family?
Destroyed it.
Besides extortion and flooding the city with cocaine, Bulger routinely performed or ordered executions, some at close range, some with a hail of bullets, and at least one by strangulation.
His actions were so brutal and infamous, he became the inspiration of the lead villain Frank Costello in Scorsese's The Departed, as well as being played by Johnny Depp in the 2015 movie Black Mass.
Few mobsters have ever been as infamous in a city as Whitey Bulger was in Boston.
25 years as possibly the United States' most wanted criminal. The law finally caught up with Bulger in 1994. He was forced to flee Boston after police built a strong case against his illegal gambling operations. Whitey was on the run for 16 years before finally being tracked down.
The story of how they managed to elude an international manhunt for so long while hiding in plain sight is interesting.
Whitey Bulger was considered to be the FBI's most wanted person after Osama bin Laden. Bulger was nearly 70 when he went on the run, fleeing to California with his girlfriend Catherine Greig,
which is where Charlie and Carol Gasco, a childless couple from Chicago, lived for 14 years without attracting much attention from longtime neighbors or landlord.
They were like the nice, retired old couple that lived in the apartment next to me.
Good tenants?
Excellent tenants. Never complained, always paid rent on time.
In cash?
In cash.
The couple attracted little attention for nearly 15 years in the apartment. They kept their heads down and lived off a mountain of cash they had hid in the walls.
He always had a hat on and dark glasses. I have to say, it was mysterious to me why a lovely woman like that was hanging out with that guy.
The couple were also known as animal lovers in the local area and could be regularly seen feeding the local strays.
She would put a plate of food, like, out here.
Little did they know their bond with the local animals would eventually help police identify them. Whitey and Catherine were known as animal lovers back in their gangster days as well. However, it was ultimately a change in strategy that finally led to Bulger's capture in 2011.
There were reports that Greig once had breast implants and other plastic surgery in Boston, so the task force reached out to physicians.
Focusing on Greig, police were able to use medical records to finally obtain photographs of her that were good enough for members of the public to identify her.
The breast implant lead produced a treasure trove of high-resolution Catherine Greig photographs that would help crack the case.
A new nationwide manhunt for Greig was launched and soon led to a breakthrough.
This is an announcement by the FBI.
And then the unbelievable. The FBI made a new PR push to find Bulger, but focused on Greig. It paid off big. A former neighbor in Santa Monica, California, now living in Iceland, called the FBI.
The very next morning, the Bulger task force got 3 messages from someone that used to live in Santa Monica and was 100% certain that Charlie and Carol Gasco, apartment 303 at the Princess Eugenia Apartments, were the people they were looking for.
Investigators looked into the retired Santa Monica couple, but could find no record of them anywhere.
Basically, like they were ghosts.
No driver's license?
Exactly. No driver's license, no California ID, like they didn't exist.
Police were confident they had found Bulger. The ages and behavior of the suspects were a match. The next day, they lured him out of his apartment and swarmed him.
I asked him, I said, are you Whitey Bulger? He said yes.
He was arrested without incident, and his apartment was raided.
Weapons all over the apartment. I mean, weapons by his nightstand, weapons under the windowsill, shotguns, mini Rugers, rifles.
Loaded,
ready to go.
After 16 years on the run, Bulger was finally captured.
I did ask him, I said, hey, Whitey, I said, aren't you relieved that you don't have to look over your shoulder anymore and it's come to an end? And he said, are you nuts?
Bulger was sentenced to 2 terms of life imprisonment in September 2014. He spent roughly 4 years in prison in Florida before being transferred to United States Penitentiary Hazleton, West Virginia in 2018 due to poor health, but he didn't stay there long.
Whitey Bulger's time at USP Hazleton was short. Bulger's killers got to him within hours after his arrival.
In October 2018, the 89-year-old killer was found dead behind bars, beaten almost beyond recognition.
Bulger's history as a former FBI informant had not been forgotten by the gangsters he shared his new home with.
It appears what ultimately mattered was Bulger's reputation as an FBI informant, and that put a huge target on his back.
Did this convicted hitman take out mob boss Whitey Bulger? Freddie Gias has been named as one of 4 inmates who beat Bulger to death in his prison cell with a padlock inside a sock.
Despite his age, the hitman and gangsters killed Bulger within a day of him being at his new home.
The killers reportedly tried to cut out his tongue and gouge out his eyes. Traditional payback for an informer.
Bulger's life came to an abrupt end in prison. Many of his victims' relatives celebrated the news. Although he was just an old man at the time of his death, the unthinkable crimes he carried out as a younger man were never forgotten. Thanks for watching Crime 101. Be sure to subscribe for more.